Hello and welcome to the Gauge Look, and we're back in another Total War Warhammer 2 Radious unit overview. And we've got my personal favourite legendary lord, Leon Leocard. Look at him sitting on like... Is that like a panther with horns or something? I don't know. But he is probably one of the most useful legendary lords. He's not the best in the sense of can he take on, but you know, he can solo an army quite easily. So yeah, very, very handy. Okay, first off, two things. Don't have my green screen on today, and there's a fan that you might be able to hear. Sorry if you can't hear that. It's bloody boiling, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you. So no green screen because it blocks my fan. So you've got my toy shelf, basically, behind me. Hopefully that's okay with you guys. So let's get started. Okay, so where are we? Now, we've done this a little bit different setup, and as always, let's just set the scene. We're not looking for pure lore, especially with Bretonnia, because there's lots of mentions of units and not necessarily in the army book, but all these guys have had a mention somewhere, and that's all I'm going to focus on. Okay, so as you would probably expect, there's not that many infantry units. There is a few more again than the 19 I have put on, but these are the ones that I wanted to talk about. There is a few elite level infantry, but in comparison to other Radious elite units, they're not going to win in a one-on-one, nor should they, to be fair. So let's have a little look. Bretonnian Swordsman, these fill the mid-tier gap. Armour and Shielded. These are probably the ones that are the furthest away from lore, and in reality they're just swordsmen, so I don't really mind. Coro Infantry Army, decent use. The idea I think of these as peasants that have had decent experience, maybe a bit older guys, like there's some grey beards there and stuff, so that's always nice. And we've also got Bretonnian Macemen, which are Macemen versions of that, and I really like these units. These are actually really stalwart units. They've got good armour. You know, nothing is superb about them, but they have armour piercing. You get them quite early, and again, these are kind of the greys, shall we say, of the infantry for these guys. And I don't think it actually says too much about them. I think it's just core of the infantry, yeah. Okay, so we've got Battle Pilgrims. It's just a variant of the standard Battle Pilgrims with great weapons. No reason these can't exist. Armour piercing, frenzy and unbreakable. Very good weapon strength, and obviously unbreakable can be very, very useful. These guys are actually pretty tough, especially when you've got them with the Fae with hard buffs, and they'll go in and they do a decent amount of damage, and they've got good health pool. Good health pool, can't speak English. Chevalier Rampants, Armour Shielded, Anti-Large. These are very good spearmen. Again, they don't quite compare to the elite level spearmen of other armies, but you know, decent health, very good armour, weapon strength, melee attack, melee defense, all pretty average. Listed on page 65 of the 3rd edition of Warhammer. Young knights seeking to make a reputation for themselves on the field of glory. So these are actually knights on foot. And although that's, you know, fairly far away from lore in the later editions, they've actually quoted where they found this, which I like a lot, actually. Why not? You know what? Knights in real life got off their horses when they died, or when in marsh and stuff, so I'm fine with that. Dismounted Knights of the Realm, these are literally just dismounted Knights of the Realm. Armour Shielded Anti-Infantry, these are the sort of more elite level units. Obviously they're a bit slow, as they should be. The Knights ride down the road. Yeah, these are just the dismounted versions of the Knights of the Realm. We've got King's Royal Halberdiers, Armoured Anti-Large. So these are the elite level anti-large infantry. Again, don't quite stack up against other, but I'm fine with that. Another guard of elite knights in service to the king. King's Own Swords, these are the variant of these guys, and these are pretty much the most elite level Bretonnian infantry you can get. Now, a lot of people have some consternation over this, but as a heavy Bretonnia player, and as somebody probably can't see who has several Bretonnian tabletop figures, I am very pleased to have these, as I have fought in the roleplay games with dismounted knights before on the tabletop, albeit you couldn't play that in pool cannon, but I did play it. So there we go, very good units. Chevaliers d'Honneurs, Armour and Shielded, Charge, Defense, Skull, pretty equivalent to the units next to them. Don't have any particular bonus apart from Charge. These again are listed on page 65, 3rd edition. Warhammer, the noblest Bretonnian knights of them all, and personal friends and supporters of the king. Ooh. You got some stag helms, I like that. Chevaliers de Coron, Armour Shielded, Anti-Infantry, Armour Sundering, and Charge Defense against all. These are very good units. Again, don't quite match up to even Dark Elves, High Elf, Elite Infantry, and certainly not Empire, Chaos Dwarfs. But very good. Armour Sundering is a very useful piece of kit. Oh my god, I can't read that. Well, Coron is traditionally the seat of the Bretonnian throne, the steward of the city and the ruler of the southern dukedom is the Duke of Caron. During the Crusades, the Chevaliers de Caron served under King Leon the Righteous. It was his regiment. I will feed back that doesn't quite fit, although I'm sure they've probably taken that exactly from a page somewhere, but I will feed back that doesn't quite fit. But really cool looking. The Bretonnian loot. Just so you may have got this already, these are my favourite faction, Britannia. In many ways, they're one of the more boring factions, but I just love them. Occultist of Manan, we probably might know these guys. Shielded, Frenzy, and Unbreakable. These are better version of Battle Pilgrims, basically. That being said, less of a health pool. Not extraordinarily stats, I like them. The Occultist of Manan is the most active in Bordeaux. In fact, they're the only province that mentioned that it has any worshippers to focus on the practical matters relating to the sea, and its members are sought after as navigators, pilots, and able-bodied seamen. They do their worship using common clothing. These guys are pretty cool. I like these. These are a bit like fanatics, but maybe not quite as crazy. But yeah, I like them. I like to see that. Black Guards of Moor. That's quite interesting. They look very, very cool. I believe you get these for the Empire as well. Armour shielded, anti-infantry friendly, and charge defense skull. Again, this is about the top level infantry you get. Now, you guys that are not used to Radious, you do get armour units up to 130. You get better weapon strength and everything else. So these are good, but you know they lack that 10% on top, as they should. Look at the size of that guy's bloody. He's got bloody Galmaraz almost. The Black Guard is an almost hermit-like order. The majority of its brothers, as individual Templars, are known, filling their lives with the sombre worship of Moor. Only sallying forth from the priesthood now uncovers some abominable desecration of Moor's domain. Right, I know who Moor are. I didn't generally associate them with Bretonnia, but why not? Why not? It is a game after all, and they do look awesome. And I might be wrong, maybe they are highly associated. Okay, let's have a little look at their archer units. Crossbow Brigands. These are just basically peasant archers with crossbows. Bretonnian soldiers. Now, I have actually read Black Library books with something like these. They don't exactly fight in the Bretonnian army per se, but with crossbow soldiers. And you know what? It fits the atmosphere, because this is King Arthur, and I know we think about the crossbow as a more modern thing, but obviously, even in the Dark Ages, crossbows were in use. And before that, obviously, but in the Dark Ages. So why not? Squires. I love these guys. These are just a slightly better variant of peasant archers, but they've just got a little bit. Again, these guys are not going to hold up in decent. They're not decent melee combatants, basically, but they will hold up just ever so slightly longer than peasant archers. And you know what? Goblin spearmen or something they can probably take. So you don't need to run with them straight away. I really like these. I like this middle sort of ground. And what I love about this is I can build like a state army up. And by that, I mean I'd probably get a bunch of Bretonnian macemen, a bunch of squires, mounted yeomen and stuff, and then you've got a state army, and I really like that. I like my role-played armies. King's Royal Longbowmen. These are superb, and in fact, for a period in Warhammer 1, these were the best unit archers in the game that were added. They're not now, nor should they be. Obviously, with the elves and even some of the dwarf forces, maybe not quite outranging them, the dwarfs, but certainly outpowering them. But these, again, you know, they don't have heavy armour. They've got okay armour, they've got fantastic range, reasonably good missile damage. Again, in the Radious, just for your ideas, this isn't amazing missile damage, but nor is it poor. But these guys are very hefty units. The greatest archers in Bretonnia, handpicked by the king itself. And I like them. I like them a lot. I think it's good now that they're no longer the best or close to the best. But I like having these sort of units. Okay, so I kept the cavalry a little bit different because there's a few more cavalry in this one. We start though with the ladies' horse archers. Chosen mounted armour archers by the lady itself. These are elite mounted missile cavalry. Armour, decent melee combatant, very fast, and vanguard deployment. And these guys can hold up in melee. Not against anything too severe. But you know, these are the veterans of the mounted yeomen. And why not? I could do with some beards though. Very, very soft looking chaps. Okay, Heroes of Bretonnia. Armour shielded, armour piercing, anti-infantry. These guys are bloody superb. These are basically the Grail Guardians, but not anti... Wait, are the Grail Guardians anti-large? They're like the Grail Guardians. Legendary cavalry from Bretonnia. Experienced from many battles, skilled from many wars. These men are the best tool you can get on the battlefield. They probably aren't quite the best cavalry in the game, but goddamn, they're close, and they are beautiful. Obviously, some of the best cavalry in the game tends to be anti-large as well, so they don't hold up against that, of course. Chevaliers d'Honneur, these are the mounted variety of these guys. Armoured, shielded, Anti-large. Unusual that the anti-large have swords, but why not? Maybe they have got tactics to suit. Listed on page it. They're exactly the same as those guys, so you can find them in Army Book 3rd edition. Maybe challenging unless you go to something like Warhammer Army Projects book, something like that. King's Royal Knights, again, mounted variant of them. Armoured, shielded, anti-infantry. Very, very stalwart. Finest heavy cavalry unit in Bretonnia, besides the vaunted Grail Knights. So, and the heroes of Britannia. Bretonnia, it should be noted, but these are the next best next to them. They all come about the same time, so some of this is to do with cost-based and everything else. Chevalier Rampants, armour, shielded, armour piercing. These are kind of early cavalry units, but they're actually very good. So, and of course, it should be noted that there's obviously 2 formations for each of these, which I'll show you. Armour, speed. I think these are standard, but there you go. Armour and shielded, armour piercing. Yeah, you can get these guys pretty early. Again, listed on page 65. There's a lot of stuff listed on page 65 in the 3rd book, but I'm sure that is accurate. And these are pretty early level, but they're actually pretty decent. I mean, you look at their stats, they're going to hold up reasonably well. Anyway, as always, we've got a whole bunch of zombies across there. So I thought I would charge with my knights first, just because it's funnier. Of course, we're not going to watch the full battle. We never do. If you go and fight these guys, let's see if we can get a cheeky... In fact, no. I think we should probably do... Lance formation. Lance formation. Shall we do one flying wedge? I think I've done it with all you now, haven't I? That's fine. Okay, let's see a cheeky little charge. Oh, they look so good! Try and get my mouse out of the way. Oh, you're messing up your charge a little bit there. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. Oh, ha! And we'll give it a wee while just so we can see the sort of attacks that are being done. The archers are having a good time. In fact, it looks like the horses have already broken quite a few. Just no surprise. What sort of damage are they doing? Here's a Bretonnia are just beasting it. I'm sure Luon's having a decent little time there. Let's just wait for you guys to charge. I'm going to go down pretty quickly, I imagine. Yeah, gotta love the Arthurian sort of Kingdom of France style units. I think I would like to see my little Battle Pilgrims charge. Honestly, I think those knights would win this battle on their own. They're already about 110 kills. It's a little bit more than we normally see. One Bretonnian macemen. They do a whole heap of damage. Won't be amazing against zombies, but I tell you, this should be probably the quickest victory, but I think it's just the knights. But we'll leave it there. I do hope you've enjoyed this. We'll move on to... We might do something like Kislev or something like that. But I think in retrospect, after I said I would do that, I think we'll probably stick with all the playable factions. And then we might move on to some of the other ones. Anyway, folks, catch you. And see you again.